It's now my pleasure to introduce to you National Headquarters Executive Director Barry Jesinoski for his report. Barry is a Gulf War era veteran of the United States Marine Corps. God help us. And a native of Otter Tail County, Minnesota. He was appointed to his current position following last year's national convention. Before that, he led DAV's efforts in Washington, D.C. as Executive Director of National Service and Legislative Headquarters. He started his career with DAV nearly 20 years ago as a National Service Officer and also worked for several years on our National Service Staff and Human Resources. In his current capacity, Barry serves as DAV's Chief Financial Officer and leads DAV's voluntary services, membership, employment, communications, fundraising, accounting, administration, information technology, logistics, and plant operations. As DAV has taken extraordinary steps in the areas he leads, we must all be grateful to have a leader with such thoughtful skills and strategic vision. He's doing an amazing job for us every day. Sisters and brothers, please welcome to the podium your Executive Director, Barry Jesinoski.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. National Commander Johnston, guests, and delegates to our 93rd National Convention of DAV. It's certainly my privilege to share what's going on at DAV National Headquarters and what's coming in the future as we grow. And we are growing. First, I'd like to thank National Commander Johnston for his leadership and guidance in what was a very fast-paced year for DAV. And of course, I thank National Adjutant Burgess. Your vision for plotting our course and the direction we've taken this year has truly taken DAV to a new level in terms of our approach to the business of fulfilling our promises to the men and women who have served. If there's one thing instilled in DAV's culture, it's that maintaining the status quo is a sure path to mediocrity. Veterans are exceptional people, and the veterans who comprise DAV, all of you, are particularly exceptional because you have sacrificed and overcome tremendous adversity just to qualify for membership. As such, DAV members rightfully demand and deserve the exceptional from those who comprise our professional staff. I'm proud of the hard work our team has put forward this year, and I feel confident that the results of our efforts and the strategic direction we're taking for the future will yield tremendous results. DAV is evolving. We're doing so because it's the right thing to do for the veterans we serve, and we're doing so because it is completely necessary for the future of our organization. We're staying true to our values, but finding ways that we can use technology and emerging resources to improve our efficiency and increase our awareness of DAV. When I talk about DAV's values, I'm talking primarily about service. That's what we're all about. How we serve our nation's veterans and the core functions of our organization are extremely important. And I'm proud of our efforts in this area. It includes infrastructure. DAV is thoughtfully but aggressively working on a software solution that will replace many of the applications that we use in the areas of fundraising, membership, voluntary services, and other areas. This application is called DAV 360. It's going to take time to implement. In fact, it's going to take years, but it's going to give us a 360-degree view and understanding of our data while consolidating and streamlining our processes. In short, it's going to improve the way we function as an organization and put DAV ahead of the curve in terms of how we serve our volunteers, our donors, and our members. Of equal or greater importance is our work to replace our current case management system. Our current CMS is 8 years old and has served us well. But when it comes to the work DAV service officers do, we need and deserve the very best resources. This new system will give us more flexibility and allow us to better integrate with future changes we anticipate the VA to make as the claims process becomes increasingly digital. It's also going to improve our services for veterans and provide up-to-the-second access to information for our hardworking department and chapter service officers who augment and support DAV's service efforts. As Adjutant Burgess said yesterday, we know that DAV has to improve our recognition among the veterans who need our assistance and the public on whom we rely for support. Now, there's a great deal of work going into changing the way we handle our outreach. For the first time in our history, as we saw with Regis Philbin here yesterday, we've begun using direct response television messages to engage monthly donors. I cannot overemphasize how important recurring donors can be to the long-term health of our organization. In addition to Regis's participation, these messages feature a few other prominent VIPs. This one may look familiar to all of us.
That was picked up and tossed like 6 feet into a wall, and within 45 days was blown up again.
It's a terrible feeling to know that you can't do anything to help your son.
America is blessed with the countless brave servicemen and women who have fought for our freedom. And many thousands of them have paid the price in body and spirit while serving our country. These heroes need your help. Far too many of them struggle to get the care and benefits they need. That's why DAV, Disabled American Veterans, was formed nearly 100 years ago, to be there to help injured veterans when they return home. And that's why I'm asking you to donate only $19 a month so that you can be there for them too. DAV is simply a lifesaver for veterans. I should know. They were there for me when I returned home from Vietnam, badly burned and without my left arm and right hand. Your monthly donation of $19 today will help veterans like Bob Schilling.
The injuries I sustained were 2 grade 3 concussions, and it felt like the whole world just turned upside down.
As a mom, your heart just stops.
Bob's mother, Connie, was determined to help her son get the help he needed.
And they changed his life.
Having somebody like the DAV in your corner, it was just an amazing feeling.
DAV enables hundreds of thousands of veterans to obtain the financial and medical benefits they earn through their service to our country. And if you call or go online right now with your pledge of just $19 a month, we'll send you this DAV blanket as our gift. Please help make sure that after defending our freedom, these brave men and women and their loved ones get the full life they all deserve. Please donate now.
We're all very well aware of the hero featured there, our own past national commander, Bobby Barrera. No offense to Regis, and we thank him immensely for what he's doing for us, but that's my favorite version of this ad. In addition to receiving pledges of support, we're taking calls that connect veterans, their dependents, or their survivors with our free services. We're on track to reach our goals through this new initiative, and though we haven't anticipated a windfall for DAV, the type of donors we're engaging are of incredible value. The more frequently a prospective donor encounters our message, the more likely it is that they too will join DAV's Honor Guard to maintain the long-term health of DAV and fuel our services. As many of you know, we also hosted the first ever DAV 5K run, walk, roll, and motorcycle ride to honor veterans. The event hosted in Cincinnati drew nearly 2,500 participants and put our cause on center stage, both in the heart of downtown and on every local network, as the public was anticipating Veterans Day. In this clip, National Adjutant Burgess will tell us more.
The DAV 5K is a wonderful event. It's an event where all of the community can come out and say thank you for the service and sacrifice that our ill and injured veterans have provided to all of us in our country. It provides an opportunity for all generations, entire family to come out and have fun and just say thanks for veteran service and sacrifice, and learn a little bit about veterans and and their needs.
I believe that the DAV 5K run is very important because it's about community, and it's about bringing together us individuals that had sacrificed our time and bodies and soul to the service.
We're proud to say that 30% of the participants at the inaugural DAV 5K in Cincinnati were veterans. The DAV 5K is a run, walk, roll, and motorcycle ride where we had not only citizens come out, we had our corporate partners come out en masse. And it's just wonderful to be a part of a community where so many people and corporate partners recognize the sacrifices that our ill and injured veterans and their families have made for our country.
We in the service are nothing without the backbone, and our backbone is our support system, which is the family. They are behind dealing with the day-to-day grinds.
The race was led by over 200 motorcycles. What an impactful beginning of that race. It was exciting, the crowd was just having a wonderful time. And those motorcycle riders, in addition to opening the race, they were at the finish line. If you know a veteran and you want to say thank you, certainly do that in person. But you can also come out and support an event like this where you can say thank you to every veteran.
I'm sure some of you noticed past National Commander Rob Reynolds leading that motorcycle group there, and we were very proud to have Rob with us there as well. We're expanding to San Diego this year, and we'll now host 2 events in the Veterans Day timeframe. And we'll look to add 1 new city every year for the next 10 years or so to expand our outreach, to connect with communities, and to raise funds to support our mission. We're also looking at how we can most efficiently make our fellow citizens and veterans aware of all we offer through public service announcements. This year, we're going beyond television releases of our PSAs, and we'll be reaching out to stations and entities who wish to donate billboards, outdoor advertising, radio, and print messages for free. The creative work we're putting out there advertises our services, promotes our branding, and builds upon the relationship we need to have with the American public. It also reminds the public that veterans come in many different ages, genders, and races, and that all deserve our utmost respect. We're making the letter V more prominent to brand our connection with veterans, and feel already our branding and outreach efforts have proven successful in many key areas. We'll also have a new television message that we'll be asking station managers to run to build awareness for the organization.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A covenant that split the skies over Berlin. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A promise was made. A solemn oath that liberated Seoul. A sacred trust that defended Quezon. A pact that dug in Da Nang. A contract that weathered Tet. A promise was made. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. A bond that patrolled door to door in Fallujah. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. A promise we all must keep. DAV fights for all veterans and their families so they get the health care, financial benefits, and support they earned. If you're a veteran who needs help or you'd like to help us keep the promise, visit DAV.org.
We're seizing new opportunities. In addition to DAV's national release, we've had an invaluable friend in Inspire Network over the past couple of years. At no cost, they've helped us with a series of 3 public service announcements highlighting veterans and expanding our efforts to build a relationship with the American public.
The cause of the injury is not something I talk about, but it definitely changed my life in an instant. I was an MP. We patrolled Area 1, which is the area north of Seoul in South Korea. Losing my fingers was no big deal, but my head injury was brutal because it did some obvious brain damage. There were so many things I had hoped to achieve in life and things that I was used to being able to do that now I either couldn't do or needed help doing or just had to find ways around. I was having 1 to 4 seizures a month, and they said, you know, because of your injuries, you'll never go to college. You'll never run. Not allowed to bathe alone, not allowed to live alone, can't cook because if I had a seizure cooking, I could burn the house down. So the prospect that a dog could hang out with me all day and tell me before I was gonna have a seizure was huge to me. Like, I knew that would change my life in itself. I would say Moxie's more my buddy than anything else. You know, she's like my best friend. She follows me everywhere I go. She does everything with me. She's trained to alert me before I have a seizure. She's trained to check me for consciousness. She can open and close the door and go ring people's doorbells for me. She's there every step of the way. I've been on the ice as a kid. We just skated on the brook behind our house. But I went to this clinic. I stayed on the ice for about 20 minutes and fell in love with hockey. Yeah, you could get beat up. You could break more stuff. We all come with pretty catastrophic injuries already. We plan to compete in 2018 Paralympic Games in South Korea. To go from losing my life in Korea to probably the biggest highlight of my life in the same place is pretty phenomenal. I like beating what people said I could do. I want to exceed expectations, whether it's yours or mine. There's always a chance to be better at something.
Find more stories like this at moments.org.
Again, these messages have been produced at no cost to DAV and can be seen wherever cable or satellite providers carry the INSP network. In partnership, we're working on a new series focusing on women veterans, and we look forward to more of their support in the future. They're here today at a booth outside, and if you get a chance, please stop by and thank them for all they're doing to raise awareness for our cause. Just days ago, we wrapped filming for messages we'll be presenting in partnership with the History Channel and their popular series, American Pickers. These broadcast segments, which will air in conjunction with programming leading up to Veterans Day, will include messaging about DAV and feature the show's star, Mike Wolf. Our work with chapters and departments is something that is encouraged all the way from the top. And we're seeing more and more news related to DAV's volunteer efforts and fraternal activities across the entire country. In addition to a new publicity guide and brand resources, we're looking to provide training to give our members the tools they need to spread awareness and fuel support for our core initiatives. I can't mention DAV's volunteer efforts and the media without mentioning that the National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic, which we co-host with VA, receives significant attention on many national outlets. It was prominently featured on Fox and Friends, and the Today Show aired an entire segment on the program. As we forge ahead with new ideas and initiatives, we're not forgetting our core competencies. Volunteers continue to be the primary asset that extends our mission and message of hope nationwide. Here's a quick look at the event and what it means to those who participate.
When you see someone who may be missing at least one appendage, or they may have various injuries or may be blind, and they're still out here working and doing, it makes me inspired because it's like, I have no right to give up, none.
You can't have a bad day when you see everybody else overcoming their adversity. It's amazing.
It's so great to have the wind in my face and the snow and to just do it.
To see these guys doing what they're doing is, I feel down here. You know what I mean? These guys are just incredible what they're doing. So, wow, you gotta get out here and do it. Don't let your challenges be a challenge.
It was just a matter of just breaking one wall down. Once you break that wall down, you're ready to climb up the hill and go down again. It looks so hard when people do it, but I got right up there and did it, and I feel like a champion. There's nothing like seeing a Korean War vet and an Iraqi War vet and somebody who was, only in the service for a short time, all bonding together.
Do it. Even if you don't think it's possible, it is possible. And once you find out that you can do it, it opens up the door for a lot of other things. I want to do it again and again and again for the rest of my life.
I never thought I'd feel this again. I'm really proud of myself. It's been a really long time since I ever could say that out loud or even feel it. And this place is miracles on the mountainside. There's many miracles.
Seeing some of our most profoundly disabled veterans overcoming obstacles in that environment is truly amazing. We met a gentleman named Lonnie Bedwell. Lonnie is legally blind. For fun, he does things like kayaking the entire 212 miles of the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, solo. The only aid he had was a guide in a separate boat in front of him, and he's earned a world record for that, by the way. Like all of our veterans, Lonnie is resilient and he's creative. We learned this when we found out he's an avid downhill skier. He uses a coach in front of him with a cowbell attached so he can follow the sound, and a coach behind him with a two-way radio. We have members like Lori Wood, who suffered a spinal cord injury while in uniform. Yet she says the only time that she's vulnerable is when her nail polish is wet. At the clinic, Lori was literally a terror on the ice during the sled hockey events, and she scaled the rock climbing wall as well. She said that adaptive sports saved her life, but I believe that she's giving back to our veteran community tenfold as she inspires others with her confidence, determination, and her great sense of humor. As Mark mentioned in his report, we received some somber news during the Winter Sports Clinic that another shooting tragedy had again struck Fort Hood, Texas. While that type of news is never well received, it was particularly difficult for Army veteran Patrick Ziegler. Patrick had been shot 4 times by Nadel Hassan at the first Fort Hood incident years before, and he was at the event to recover from 4 gunshot wounds. As the story broke, he was taking his ill wife to the hospital, actually. But we made sure he knew that he wasn't alone. DAV and Patrick's fellow veterans were there for him. Amazingly, he was not bitter for his losses, but instead he delivered a message of hope and condolences for the families of the victims. He thanked his home state, DAV, in Minnesota for their ongoing support. They had just held a benefit to help his service dog get food and supplies. He's a hero, and he, in his audacious courage, epitomized the determination we've seen every year from DAV Freedom Award recipients. While the clinic is a time of infinite glory, nothing compares in context to the work our volunteers are doing inside and out of VA medical centers. It's hard to attach a dollar figure on the sheer importance of dedicated volunteers making positive impacts on America's veterans, but we know that the DAV Transportation Network volunteers alone donated nearly $40 million worth of work in 2013. Let's look real quick at our transportation network through a couple of the 9,000 amazing individuals who make it possible. Like volunteer John Thierry from DAV Billings. He's from Montana Chapter 10, and he manages DAV's transportation network in the entire eastern half of Montana. That's not a light job, considering Montana is a frontier state with miles of rural areas. Jimmy Kerr of that chapter has driven nearly 250,000 miles and has transported over 3,000 veterans. That's equated to nearly 8,000 hours of time that he gave back to his veteran community. And Clayton Morgan, right here from Nevada, has driven 800,000 miles helping veterans. As you can see from the graphic above, those numbers didn't invent themselves, and our volunteers make it all possible. Our volunteers in our transportation network drove almost 26 million miles in 2013. Then there are the volunteers. Then there are the volunteers inside the hospitals whose special thanks to our nation's heroes truly extend the gratitude our heroes have earned for their dedication. The commander will recognize some of our top volunteers this morning, but I'd like to ask everyone here to consider how you may be able to encourage volunteerism further within DAV. There are so many things to do. Volunteers can assist through the local Veterans Assistance Program that credits nearly any support or talent that serves those who serve. And we need more young folks to pursue our Jesse Brown Memorial Youth Scholarship. We know that we can benefit from more participation, and your help to bring more into our fold is greatly appreciated. As I said, we remain true to our values, and we remember the keys to success for our organization. Just as sergeants and petty officers are the backbone of our America's military, members are the backbone of DAV. New members strengthen our voice before Congress and the administration. And recruiting is an area where you here today have been amazingly exceptional. Commander Johnston, Adjutant Burgess, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud of the efforts that resulted in all DAV departments reaching their recruiting goals for the second consecutive year. And further, more than 80% of our chapters have reached their individual recruiting goals. While other VSOs are declining in membership, DAV is maintaining and building, and that's something that I know we're all proud of. Though this is a remarkable achievement, it's not an area where we can afford to rest. In the next few years, thousands of men and women will shed their uniforms and, as we all here can attest, make the very challenging transition from military service to begin civilian life once again. Many of these service members are unaware of the benefits they've earned through service, and they'll need our help the most. So long as we assist them and give them meaningful opportunities to serve, we'll continue to grow in the years ahead. We're also aware of their unmet needs facing our fellow veterans. And this year, we've determined to tackle one of the most significant of them all. For the first time in many years, as Adjutant Burgess mentioned yesterday, DAV launched a new initiative this summer by establishing the DAV Employment Department. Even before our newly appointed director, Jeff Hall, and Assistant Director, Danny Soto, had a chance to pack and move to national headquarters, we had a partnership inked with Recruit Military to host some 65 all-veteran career fairs nationwide. That means we'll be connecting some 26,000 veterans with in-person job opportunities with employers who value veterans and want to hire them. Many more will be able to connect with listings and resources through tools we've made available on DAV.org. There, too, veterans can learn about our partnership with NCOA. Through NCOA career fairs, DAV service officers are assisting with making sure, in addition to employment opportunities, veterans are able to learn and receive assistance with claims for VA benefits. A veteran's transition from injury in uniform to a quality civilian life is not complete until he or she is truly able to pursue their maximum potential. For veterans who can work, that means getting a job and being able to support their families. If you've helped a veteran with his or her claim, you know that this is one piece where, at one time or another, you wish DAV could help more. And now we are. And our new employment department will build a strong network with all those concerned about connecting veterans with jobs, such as local veterans employment representatives, disabled veteran outreach program specialists, VR&E counselors, and corporate recruiters. This is just a snapshot of what we've been up to at National Headquarters. I want to thank my staff for doing an exceptional job of implementing these ambitious and critical programs. I'd also like to thank Adjutant Burgess and National Commander Johnston for your guidance and support, and our Board of Directors and National Executive Committee for ensuring that we have the resources necessary to pursue our vision for the future. Thank you, Commander. This concludes my report.